ready to leave Midway.
After breakfast, of course. With the crew.
After breakfast, yep. Now, no video because I was still getting stuff ready. It's a short little trip. It's about a mile up here to Rankin Lock, which took a lot longer than it's looking like here.
Yes.
But it's still, hey, that's still...
This isn't the slowest part of our journey.
That's still the boat. Just a little icon picture of it. Yeah, it's kind of like we're a speedboat here. And the satellite imagery definitely isn't what we saw necessarily, but here we are. First lock of the day, and then gone. It's in the Montgomery Pool. Second lock's Montgomery.
That's when you get rained on, correct?
No, that's the third one.
Oh, I can
Whitten.
never keep them straight.
Whitten. We did get rained on in Montgomery though, but that was
real rain, not from
natural causes.
We had a couple of those.
Yeah,
this first part was
there we
a little
go in,
rainy.
and then we're coming out of Whitten there. We skipped that other little part. They're so close together. They're 4 or 5 miles apart there. There's 3 locks. Bay Springs, more places to anchor than you could ever think of. We had miles to make, so we didn't bother.
Yep, kept going.
But, this is probably the prettiest section of the Tom Bigby Waterway, Bay Springs.
It is very pretty.
You know, it's deep water coves all over for fishing and anchoring and everything else. The rest of it's just it's just a ditch for quite a while, but then it's just a small river after that. Then of course here, this is the 27-mile divide cut.
Not very wide.
Nope. That opens up into Yellow Creek, up on Pickwick Lake. There's a little island here, that's Goat Island. There's actually wild goats that live on it, and they're mean, so don't go there and think you're going to pet them. This little anchorage here is called Lucy's Cove. We got a couple pictures here. A nice day there. And the second day, off we go, headed for Mermaid Marina. See the new owners there.
They're nice people.
Yeah, as I say, this is where we first met them.
Yep.
By Grand Harbor. Now we're on the Tennessee River. Pickwick Lake is pretty too.
It is. Just busier. Unlike
Yeah.
boat traffic,
Yeah, busier. That's true.
especially on the holidays.
Very true. Oh, ran right over that barge. Guess we're tougher than we thought we were.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in real life.
You'll see spots where we kind of go out. It's because one of those was there. There we go. Trip down Pickwick, caught the current, and away we went. As you can see in the water, it really moves there. Even though this is the satellite isn't when we went. You'll see along here in places that you see sandbars and things like that we didn't see on this particular trip.
No, we did not. The water was high.
Wasn't bad on Tennessee. It was a little high yet,
Higher than normal.
but not by much. I think we were at summer pool already, even though we were early. Maybe just a few inches above summer pool. Oh, I got through Hooker's Bend. Another trip through Hooker Bend. I didn't see any hookers.
That joke gets old. You guys have the pleasure that you haven't heard it a lot. I have.
641 Bridge, Clifton. Here we come around, coming up to Mermaid Marina. There we are where we docked on the long wall. Had a nice dinner and a beverage or two on the back deck. And away we go again. Day 3, running up to Rockport. And I don't know, this part, we've traveled so much of this part of the river, it's hard to really talk about it. They unload sand and gravel there that they dredge out of the bottom of the river. There's I-40, where it goes over the Tennessee River. And we just went past where the Duck River comes in. Now we're easing off. The channel actually goes out where you see these boat wakes. We're going in the back to anchor behind this island. Nice, peaceful little anchorage there too.
Yes, very much so.
It was nice, no wind. That's where we took our drone video, which came out pretty good. And off again. Now we're bound to see the criers. We're up to see the criers. Oh wait, that's something different.
We had some Mexican food.
Yeah, we did. And we had Mexican lunch, and then we took naps, and then we had beverages on reality after that.
It was a fun night.
Yeah, eating too early in the day just brings about nap time. And double bridges at New Johnsonville. A little speck you see off to the right here is the old Danville elevator that's underwater. There's the ferry that goes across from Stewart to Benton County, or Houston County to Benton County, excuse me. And here we go, coming up to Route 79. What was that, left turn, Clyde?
Yep.
Got into Paris, sucked up some fuel, topped off good for the trip. Like I said, had fun with the criers, and then away we go. 5 days into this trip already, or in the 5th day, I should say. On up through Kentucky Lake. Not too bad to look at.
No, it's pretty.
A lot of water, not a lot of shoreline till you get up here to the front of it. Now we're gonna duck in through the canal that connects Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake, because we're gonna go down the Cumberland side. It's a little Barkley Lock. It's a little friendlier for pleasure craft. We were gonna anchor just up from the lock, but we had weather coming in, so we went in to Green Turtle Bay, and boy did it rain, which you'll see the result of here in a little bit too. So next day we took off, went around here. Back in this bay is where we would have anchored for the night. We had to go in there and wait a little bit to get through the lock. All that rain that we got the night before, well, it was it also hit on the Mississippi basin. And Mississippi that was falling turned around, which we're going to find out here later today.
It's a noticeable change in speed.
Yeah, well, I knew it was coming before we got there, but it was a little late to stop or turn around. So we just went. There's a little bit of industry along the Cumberland, but it's a narrow river, so there's not a lot. It starts emptying into the Ohio River here. It's the Ohio off to the right. And join in with it. That's Cumberland, and the Tennessee empties in here just a little bit. Tennessee comes in. And there's the Paducah dock. We skipped that. And the Ohio was up too as a result of all the rain, so we didn't have to lock through Olmsted. We just shoop right on over. It's a wicket dam, so you get they lower it down, and you don't have to go through. And here we go, making the turn at Cairo, Illinois, and boy, did you drop the anchor on me or something? Gosh, it really slowed us down. Angelo Towhead, that's where we stopped for the night. A nice anchorage.
Mm-hmm.
Be nicer with a little less current coming through there, but it was all right. There's one of them spots.
We didn't get any debris on our anchor, so that was a good thing.
Right. I had one of them spots where we had to go around a barge. I was up there working hard.
Or hardly working.
But yeah, you can tell debris and everything else that you're having to miss. And it isn't just one piece. You see, it's almost turned 90 degrees. Sometimes it's a field of debris.
And whole trees with the roots.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where we pulled over. And that sandbar on the right, we didn't see that. That was all underwater. Where we pulled over to the right, we had actually a towboat pass us. We had to pull over and let him by. I think I was running about 1,800. We were getting a whole 4 miles an hour on this stretch. Coming into Cape Girardeau, home of Little Diversion Canal. We snuck in there. Anchor didn't set the first time. We moved over a little bit, set it again, and then we had another boat with us that joined up with us. We'll tell you about that later. On up through there again. All that sand was underwater.
Yeah.
So this is the 8th day. Oh yeah, you get to see us anchor on land here. Nice bend in the river, halfway between Little Diversion and Kaskaskia Lock. We had date night here.
Steak and lobster.
Steak and lobster. There
delicious.
they are, right there. Steak and lobster and wine. There we go, crawling across the sand. Now we're back in the water. The only amphibious trawler out there. And we got more storms this night. Actually had tornado warnings coming in as we were approaching here to Kaskaskia, which was good. We get to tie up to a big piece of concrete. Then the storms come in and they quit just in time for us to get a nice sunset.
It was good that we were on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Day 10, we're headed for Hoppies. Another slow trip. Between all the swirl and the current and everything else. Eased our way over there. Got ourselves docked, got some fuel, went around the backside, spent the night, and now this will be the last day into Alton. Kimmswick is just below St. Louis. Here's where Mike come down and took pictures. He was off to the side here. through downtown here. Oh, there's the arch. And there's us going by it.
We look so little.
Working our way. St. Louis is a busy commercial port. Going into the Chain of Rocks Canal, you got that big divider wall. When the water's up, you don't even see that wall. But it's nice to know it's there, if you don't want to pass over it. Your friends Mike and Lisa aren't too far from here,
Yeah.
where we are down there. And more all industrial coming up through and approaching the second lock. Melvin Price, lock 26. We get through there. Then we're in sight of Alton. We just gotta find our way there.
And fight the debris and current at the same time.
Yep. And then we find our way into Alton. It's time for our landing drink session. I'm Wes.
I'm Amy.
And we hope you've enjoyed this. Gosh, it's a long part of the trip, and we're sorry there wasn't more video of it. You know, the overview you got to see. It is kind of neat. That actually is the video you've watched, where you see the boat moving on the track line. That's from our actual track lines, and it's actually a picture of the boat that you see on there. But yeah, we didn't have it. We had just a few last minute things to take care of. One of the last minute things before we left Mississippi was I had to get a new motor controller in for the autopilot, and the first day we still struggled with it. You will see some spots where we kind of a little bit of that. It would try to turn, but the cable steering needed adjustment. I think I mostly got it the first night that we anchored, which was on Pickwick. A little place, Lucy's Cove. Nice little anchorage, so peaceful. You get to see a few pictures from that. Otherwise, the 10 Tom was pretty smooth.
Yes.
We got a light start. We served breakfast on the back deck before we left for everybody, and then called the lock, and yep, we're ready for you. They're about I don't know, 2 miles upstream from the marina. We scurried up there. We got through. Then the second one, I forget which one did we get rained on. There's 3 locks that we had to do. I think it was the second one. We got rain. It was cloudy. We got rain while we're in the lock. Yeah. The only time anybody has to be either out from under the bimini or outside of the interior of the boat is in the lock.
And guess who that is? That's outside.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Yeah. Well, unless I do it all myself, which I have done.
You have.
But anyway, did it rain leading up to it? Nope. Did it rain afterwards? No. Just while we were in the lock. You gotta love it. Actually, no, I take that back. It was the third one. It was Whitten, because it really didn't matter. You're getting wet in that one anyway.
Yeah, it was that one. But it does matter because you get wet. Yes, the boat gets wet. I did not necessarily get wet in Whitten if it's not raining. You can position yourself enough. You might get a little bit, but not that. I was very wet after that lock because it was raining. I had no rain gear at that point in time. My bad. I now do have a raincoat, so that does help. But still, so I was very cold after that because I was very wet.
We joke. We call the Jamie Whitten lock and boat wash. On the lower side, you get little sprigs of water coming out of the walls.
It's not so bad when you're going upstream because you can kind of pick. That's where you end up. You pick the pin you want to tie to where you really don't have water coming direct on you. When you're coming the other way, you're up. You don't know where it's going to leak unless you go through every day and you just remember. Well, I go through a lot, but I don't go through that often. Once I've slept, I bear no responsibility to remember the details anymore. But so it always gets you on the way down. But then from there you see us go down to Paris Land. Or no. Whoop, almost forgot. We stopped at oh gosh, what is the name of that anchorage? Rockport, and that's actually where the drone video that you see the drone circling the boat. That's actually where that was taken, and we had a nice little time there. A friend of ours, he wasn't able to get his boat going, so I chased him down with the dinghy and brought him up. Had a nice dinner. And this is part of where there's not a lot of video. You're getting a lot of this flyover. Then the next day we go to Paris Landing. We had friends there waiting for us. They had to go have dinner and have drinks and catch up and do all this.
I love the way you say we have to.
We had to. You can't say no. We hadn't seen them for
It was a good time.
for 2-3 months.
Catch up with them.
We had to. How can you say no?
It's just the way you said it. It sounded funny.
Yeah.
I thought.
I come from Wisconsin. You can't turn down cheese and you can't turn down beer. You just can't. You can't.
Fair. No, but that was a nice visit that we had with him. So it was good to see him. It was hot. Oh my goodness, it was hot.
Yeah, it was warmish. Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't that bad.
I thought it was.
Well, remember when we were there a couple of years ago over July?
Well, okay. For time of year, it was hot.
Yes, it was. And then from there we moved on to Green Turtle Bay, and we'd been there before. We talked about anchoring that night, but there was a storm coming in that night.
Oh, it was a doozy too.
Yeah, it did. It really blew in there, so we were happy to go in and pay the fees. And then the next morning, it was all cleared out, off through Lake Barkley Lock, and down the Cumberland, which you saw a couple pictures, and that's a nice little river, and it's a little longer than the Tennessee to the Ohio, but Lake Barkley Lock is a little more pleasure craft friendly. Kentucky Lake Lock really gets backed up with commercial traffic, and I've been through it. It's not necessarily fun. That's a story for another day.
Yes.
But we got all the way through the Ohio River. We passed right over the new Olmsted Dam. Remember that?
Yes. Well, it really wasn't to me. It was like, okay, whatever you told me. I'm like, looks the same to me. I don't know. Okay. But the river was so high, so we didn't have to.
Right. The river was up, but if the wickets were up, you'd have noticed if we went the route we went.
Fair.
It would have caught your attention. But it's the new dam. It's got a double lock, but when the river's high, they lower the dam and you just pass right over. And we got around the corner that day to Angelo Towhead. Boy, let me tell you, I was backing off on the throttles on the Cumberland and the Ohio just to not go over 10 miles an hour. At that point, it was important for Starlink. Now it's not. But boy, you want to talk about hitting a brick when we turned up the Mississippi. Hitting a brick wall.
The definition of the little engine that could.
Yeah.
That was us.
We didn't have far to go, just up past the bridge, the first island. Nice anchorage. A lot of trash coming down, but we were over close enough to shore. We didn't have any. We didn't gather any trash
No,
on
we didn't.
any anchorage.
Knocked on wood.
Well, it was really. Yeah, that can happen at any time on the Mississippi, but that time of year, also with the schedule, the day we hit, the Mississippi had been falling. Well, that storm we mentioned when we were in Green Turtle Bay, well, we just got the southern bit of it. Most of it went north. And then there were storms to follow. So instead of that river falling out of action stage as we hit it, about the time we hit it, it turned around and started climbing. At that point, well, we're too far into this, so you can't turn around now. So then we became, through the rest of this that you saw, the little engine that could. We normally turn about 1550 to 1600 for 8.5, 8.75 mile an hour. We were turning 1800 for 4.
It was. I really did feel like the little engine that could. I say it jokingly, but how many miles? That's all we made in this. Long days, and felt like we weren't making any headway. But
yes, we made it, but we put in long days, 10 and 12-hour days to do 35, 40 miles. It was by the time we got to Alton, you see that we were ready to park for a little while. There was no doubt, but it went pretty good. The first day up the Mississippi. Of course, we got this Starlink so that we could travel, and because with cellular, every time she needs to be on a call, well, guess what? That's when the signal starts dropping off. Well, she had training that day, and here comes a storm. And Starlink is no different than any others, like satellite TV or anything like that. You get a heavy rain, probably snow too, it does disrupt the signal. We did all right though. We transitioned you over to, we got lucky, that section had cellular coverage. We transitioned you over, made it till we got out of the rain. I'm trying to worry about keeping her going on her training while I'm also trying to navigate where I can maybe see 100 feet in front of us.
It was a pretty heavy.
It was a fun 20 minutes.
Yeah, the good thing is at least there weren't other boats on the
No,
river.
No, there was.
It was just primarily debris that you really had to worry
about.
Yeah,
there was that section. There was towboats, and we have AIS. We broadcast and we receive, so I knew where the towboats were. There weren't any around us, because in heavy rain, radar is useless. So we just went slow, and which wasn't hard to do.
True. And
made our way through. We got to Cape Girardeau, little diversion canal. It's not that it's a fancy anchorage, but it is about the nicest anchorage you're going to find on that section, the lower section of the upper Mississippi River, because it's the only one that you get totally off the channel. Even behind Angelo Towhead, we're behind the edge of it, but towboats go by, we get some wakes, especially when they're pushing that hard against that much current.
Right.
But it was pretty peaceful back there. But our little diversion canal, it's not ideal if you need to go to shore to take a pet to shore because it's just mud. But if you're ever there, remember, if there's a railroad bridge that you can't go under, but you can go under with a dinghy. And about a mile up, there's a boat ramp. So if you are ever traveling there and you've got a pet, don't take them off the shore. Remember, there is a boat ramp up there. Drive on up to that. Some folks that did the loop a year or two ago that really liked to anchor, and they hated that anchorage. And I'm like, well, why? Well, because Holly sunk to his chest in the mud when we had to take him ashore. It's like, why didn't you take him up to the boat ramp? There's a boat ramp up there.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
Yep. Well, and that's when we had another boat come in later. We were already there.
Yes, we did.
And wanted to anchor, and so that's where we did we were already set, and they came in and tied up, but instead of the same way, went opposite way and dropped their anchor and backed into
All right.
us. So yeah, you can.
All right, you got one boat off the bow. You got an anchor. If you're in a spot, they had concerns. They thought, oh, don't we need a stern anchor in there? I'm like, no, we had current through there. It would keep you straight. But they were new boaters. They were actually taking their boat home. I said, I'm going to show you a trick. So we were facing upstream, anchor out from the bow of our boat. I had them kind of come below us, drop their anchor, and then pay out road and raft to us. So we had an anchor out this way and an anchor out this way. So it's just as effective as one boat putting out a stern anchor, but it's very easy. You just put your front anchor out. They had never heard of doing that, and we actually had nice docktails
We did.
back here till the bugs took over and
And I went inside.
Yeah, well, we all did.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's no fun when you go inside.
The bugs like me too much.
What are we left with? We're left with our drinks, and you're the entertainment.
I don't think so. And there's something I really want to do, but I'm not going to because I'm on camera. Read between the lines.
You're better to look at than I am. We explained this last week. Face for radio, voice for newspaper.
Yes.
But and then from there, it was 70 miles to Kaskaskia Lock. That wasn't going to happen. So you'll see. Matter of fact, the water was high. It'll look. What you saw, it looked like we were 10, 15 feet on land where we anchored. We anchored in 8 feet of water. Don't let the Google Earth fool you. They didn't take that satellite picture at the same time we were there. But that was nice and peaceful on the inside of that bend. We actually that was date night.
It was date night. We had surf and turf for dinner with a nice good bottle of wine. It was beautiful.
And I shouldn't say this, but I will. I had the bright idea. I thought, you know what? We finished the wine. I took one of our boat cards and put it in the bottle and put the cork on and gave it a toss. Message in a bottle. Maybe somebody would get it downstream. We haven't heard from them if they did. So I guess I littered, but it wasn't actual littering.
That wasn't the intent, but
correct.
It didn't succeed, so we won't do it again.
We won't do that again. No, that'd have been kind of neat, though.
It would have.
That'd have made a good story. We could have done a whole video on that.
We could have, but it didn't pan out because nobody reached out to us. So
yeah, well,
that was a fail.
Yeah, my dad had a saying: if the dog hadn't stopped, you know what, he'd have caught the rabbit. Anyway, let's see. Then the adventures weren't done. The storms weren't done.
They were not done. We got tied up outside of the Kaskaskia Lock, and
yep, another 35 miles, another day. Yep,
and another night of storms.
We got there as the tornado warnings were hitting. She kind of looked at me here in the reports. It's like, well, we're tied up. Kaskaskia Lock, because there are not a lot of good places. They let you tie up. You seen we're on the outer part of the guide wall. It's like, well, we're tied up to concrete. We got concrete that way, you know, on 2.5 sides of us. If we're gonna get hit by a tornado, that's the safest place we can be.
Yeah, we were pretty sheltered in there. We
Turn-
actually didn't even.
Yeah, we didn't even
Yeah.
we didn't even get any wind to speak of. The storm blew over, and we got a beautiful sunset.
We did.
Which I better show that again in case they missed it. Then from there, we went up to the famous Hoppies. And Hoppies, they had a good fuel price, so we put some fuel on there. We'd burned a little bit to get there,
60.
260, 280, something like that, gallons. They had the best price. But Hoppies is right out in the channel and in the current. And the problem you've got is you got this barge sitting here, and then if you turn the boat too much and the current takes you, it's going to bang you right over into there. So trying to ease over without turning your nose too much into that current, well, let's just say it was fun.
That's not a word I would use. But we got there. We got our fuel. We dropped. We went around and got on the other side of the barge and stayed for the night. On the other side of the barge was much better, or easier, I should say, to get to.
Yes.
Getting tied up to the fuel dock was not my favorite in our docking. I don't know how else to describe that. That's probably not the right words.
No, it was.
But,
it was not, and I don't care how much experience you've got. You will have days like that. We didn't hit anything. We didn't crash anything, but it was definitely
Less than ideal.
yeah, it was one of the more stressful
Yes.
days. Yeah, there again, we didn't have video going because we had our
haven't
hands.
figured it out yet.
Well,
really.
I had my hands full.
Yeah, that too.
I had my hands full, and you know, I didn't have opportunity to figure out this video stuff while fighting everything else. You know, but whatever. We'll get there. You'll see it soon.
Work in progress.
Oh God, if that isn't a description of me, I don't know what is.
Well, it should be a description of everybody. Always trying to improve, get better.
Yeah, you know. Okay, some of you get to start, you know, it's a staggered start. I'm at way back there at the back. You know, it's just not right. That gave us one more day from Hoppies. We made it on up to Alton. A friend of ours stopped just below the 270 bridge, came over and took some pictures as we come by, which we've showed you, and we've worked our way through Chain of Rocks Canal Lock, and got through Mel Price, got settled into Alton, and did nothing but take a deep breath and be glad to be off the water for a few days.
Yeah, and don't forget about the picture of with the arch too in the background.
Oh yes,
our boat looks so little.
Yes, they got to
tiny.
see that. I put that in there.
It looks so tiny.
Yeah.
But it is a cool picture still.
You know, even on the TV, you know, even if you've got like an 85-inch screen, you know, go back to that part. You might have to still get a magnifying glass. I mean, we're just little.
We are little.
We're so little.
It's a very far away camera, but it is still a neat picture. So if you go through there, just know that you can connect to it. And as you're going through, because I was working, but it was around the lunchish time, so I pulled up the video feed. It's a live video feed, and you can take snapshots and you can save it. So it's not even your own camera or anything that you're using. You're tapping into theirs, take it, and then you save it to your laptop. And so it was really neat to at least do that.
Yes.
And see that.
Yes, it was.
Even though the boat does look like a toy.
It's passing the St. Louis Arch.
But anybody can do that.
Yeah, and I actually, you know what? I'll dig that picture up so there, look right here. You're looking over it right now. This is a picture from 2019 that when I took the boat south to Tennessee, we got a picture. Amy wasn't with on that, but we got a picture going the other way. So it's kind of neat. You're going through there, you get a picture of that. We got to Alton. We had we took the slip for a month, and we spent our month there. Yeah, so we crammed a lot in the 2 weeks that we were there, the week before and week after when we were gone. Mike, that took the pictures that you saw of us out there before we went on the 270 bridge, he's a private pilot. So he tells me, he's like, well, what would it cost to get a ride? I want to go on a ride on a boat. I'm like, bring your butt up to Alton and we'll take you out. It's like, all right, well, we'll go out, but first I'll take you guys up for a plane ride. And there wasn't a lot of video there, but you get we've got a few pictures. We did a little circle over the marina and a couple other places. It was a lot more fun than what you get to see. We had to be careful. We couldn't do a fly over the arch. They had a race over at the Speedway on the Illinois side, so they had protected airspace. Heaven forbid somebody'd fly over and take a picture that they weren't getting paid for. That's all I can figure on that. But anyhow, no, you couldn't get too close, so we couldn't go directly over the arch. But we still got a pretty good view of it from the edge of it. Your family and friends of the family and all that live down there. We got to spend some time with them. Made 2 or 3 trips to Fast Eddie's.
At least 2, maybe 3.
3. Well, 3 because we took your mom and dad.
Yeah.
At the back end of it.
Yep.
Which kind of leads us into next time. You're going to see us go from Alton, Illinois, up to Keokuk, Iowa, and we'll have Amy's parents with us. There's not a lot of there again. You're going to see more video after this next one. Not a lot on this segment because the water was still rising. It actually had fallen and then it started rising again. And in the middle of this trip, we had to figure out a place to duck and cover because we actually ended up the trip being put on hold for almost 3 weeks. But check out the video next week. You'll get to hear all about it. Till then, I'm Wes.
I'm Amy.
You guys have fun.